Johnny boy.
Hello.
Get in here.
Hello. How you doing? You all right?
Good boy. How are you, geezer?
Yeah. Very good, mate. This is nice, isn't it?
This is nice. Dangerously nice.
Yeah, I'm going to get in me.
What makes you think you're going to sit there?
I don't know. I just lucky dip.
You can't
lucky
just
dip.
rock up in here.
Like, this is lucky dip. Can we open this now?
You can't.
No? All right.
Settle down.
Oh, sorry. Just very excited. Very excited.
Oh. What have you been up to?
Are you any good at snooker?
Yeah.
I'll have you after this. What are we playing for?
I'd like to shark you.
Eh? Yeah. But mate, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. I can't wait for our first guest.
I'm nervous.
You nervous?
Well, I'm not nervous. I'm nervous about the three of us being in one room at the same time.
Yeah.
With a bottle of whiskey.
I just think if there was a disco ball kicking off right now in the middle of here, we're going to have an absolute field day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be
He's
good.
going to break dance first.
You know beef well?
Pretty good, I think. I reckon.
Sounded like I said beef Wellington almost.
Yeah.
Beef well.
Yeah.
Beef well.
Was it 2015 when I first met him, I think? So it was amazing, actually. Never knew him, went straight up to him, asked him if I could hit one of his 9-irons. One of the par threes at the Valderrama. He must have thought, who on earth are you? You know, I'm commentating on you this week. All right, mate, sweet.
All right, geezer.
He was lovely. I ripped the 9-iron into the middle of the green, thank you very much. And then, yeah, I ended up having to give him an interview at the end of it. It was bloody carnage.
Yeah, brilliant.
Couldn't believe it. Amazing. Crazy world.
How close do these have to be?
Yeah, so just bring a little bit closer for us,
Back there?
But like if I'm in
Do I just
generic...
go that way a bit? Yeah?
Oh, there he is.
Hey, what's going on?
Bloody time you call us, eh?
What's happening?
Hey, geezer. You all
You
good?
good? Yeah, what's good?
to see you.
What's going on?
You
You
good
good?
time, boy?
What up, mate?
I want to know.
Mate, this is nice and cosy, bud.
I'm sitting this side.
You
Hey?
I really want this job.
What, this
do?
job?
I'm a hard worker. It feels like I'm having a job interview here. Sitting here, yeah.
We'll just shut that
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Jeez, you're looking glorious, mate.
No word of a lie though. Yesterday, I come out of the locker room and I saw the sign for the barber, and I was like, "Oh, get in there," like that. And then we were getting the shuttle to the range, and I overheard the guy outside going, "I've got a few more to cut this afternoon," and I banged on the window and I was like, "I'll see you tomorrow.
Nice.
I'll be there."
So there is a barber here.
Yeah.
Johnny?
I never have to look at a barber ever again, mate. Self-maintained. Just a bunch of clippers that I use for my dog. I just do it myself. You know what I mean? Find a few little flies and stuff. Tastes nice.
That'd be great if you train your dog. So you do the dog and then the dog does you.
Yeah.
Probably improve his looks.
Oh, yeah. We'll have a splash of this later as well, mate, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. There you go. That's better. So obviously coming from like last week, it's like polar opposite. I stood on 10. I hit one. I was like, oh, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
What? I was like, oh, yeah, it took like 7 holes. It was so funny. I said to Jess, I think it was 16. And like, obviously you're playing that par's your friend. And I was like, this is the first time I got the ball marker out.
Is it? Is that right?
To even like mark one, have a 10 putt, a birdie putt. Yeah.
Oh, my
I was like, this is hilarious.
Oh, wow. I didn't realise
It's
that.
proper pure.
It's
proper
so
pure.
good.
Did you consider maybe like, after playing well in the last few weeks, not playing here so you could just keep going and like go to Wentworth? Because this is quite different golf.
Nah,
Just love it.
He's got the bug, mate. He's got the bug. He's got the
man.
beep.
Got
Bit
the
between
bug.
his teeth.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I think, I've always been quite bad in terms of you do all right and then I start pulling out of events sometimes and think, oh, this and that. I'm better off playing. So doing less Monday, Tuesdays,
Right.
a little bit of practice
Yeah,
and then actually playing.
Yeah.
Rather if I'm at home,
Yeah.
my discipline's way sort of better here.
Yeah.
And I think play more and then practice a bit less.
Yeah,
I think it's a better formula.
I'm more like that. I'm a player more than a practicer.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Get out there.
Nice. Should we potentially start this podcast?
I think we should, mate.
I'm in my pants and I'm shaking a tree and then I'm jumping in the pool. Yes. Yeah, and I'm like, he seems okay. I was like, I'm not. For some reason I've gone through another door. I've set the alarms off.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
now the police have come. I've never had panic like it. It was so embarrassing. There'll be some moments in people's life where you have a dip. we should just talk about it and be open about it.
Yeah,
And be nice to people.
It was close to just walking the plank, you know what I mean? It's close. But, you know, we've all gone through it. We've all gone through it.
the hot new podcast. Welcome, boys, to Life on Tour. It's great to have it back, presented by Buffalo Trace. And I guess this podcast's all about getting inside and outside the ropes, telling untold stories. And it's great to have you boys here. Firstly, I'm George Harper Jr., and it's a pleasure to be hosting. I've got Johnny Morgan on my left. Johnny, you've played on all sorts of tours, PGA Tour, DP World Tour, and now you're here as a failed sportsman and a great broadcaster. So great.
Love you too, thank you.
But no, we do a lot of co-commentating on the DP and have a lot of fun doing it. So it's great to have you by my side. And I'll tell you what, making up the trifecta, none other than Andrew Beef Johnston. Andrew, welcome along, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm all good.
Thank you
I was
very
waiting
much.
for something brutal there.
Oh, man, I was waiting
Johnny's
for it, to
intro.
be
I was
honest.
like, yeah.
No, we can't.
Just
I
give
was
him
like,
time.
Yeah.
Give him time. Give me a whiskey or two, and we'll probably warm into it. But look, mate, you've had a busy few weeks, a busy day, a busy everything recently. So thanks for your time. How have you been?
Yeah, great, mate. Great. Just, delighted to be back playing. Just back in that sort of routine of tour life, you'd say. And being able to play injury-free. Yeah, it's been a great couple of months.
Yeah, what is that, I guess, routine like now all of a sudden? Because obviously when you start playing well as well, more comes from it. But now you're playing well, you're busy, you're travelling here, you're doing podcasts left, right and centre. You got your own podcast as well. It's it's a good schedule to have, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's amazing, after like 2 years of injury and stuff and sitting there sort of wondering, am I going to be back playing? How is it if I'm back playing? How are you going to play? A lot has changed. I've had a lot of, the one interesting thing and major thing I've changed is grip. So I've had to change my grip. So I was always like a overlapper.
Yeah, Varden.
And I've had to go interlock, take pressure off my thumb.
Tigerville.
Nice.
Which has been quite interesting.
Yeah.
And picked up some weird little niggle in my little finger from interlocking. And in Prague, on the Wednesday, I was like, I need to go back to overlap. So there's been a lot of chopping and changing and thinking. So it's been a bit hectic and getting settled. So not only getting back, and you have all these sort of questions in your head, can you get back and compete and play with this going on? So it's been a weird journey.
Wow. Well, you mentioned your pinky injury. We probably won't dive into that, but for those that don't know, can you can you run us through your?
It's completely innocent, man.
Come on, mate. Where's your head
It's
going?
a nice pinky, if you ask me.
Yeah. Hey, look, your fingers look fantastic. Can you run us through your actual injury and how that process has been over the last few years?
Yeah, well, it started off the start of 22, and I was practicing back home in Portugal, and I'd sort of, again, tweaked my grip a little bit with my left hand and made it a bit weaker, and it loaded my thumb, and I hit a couple shots and something just went pop like that, and I was like, oh, this ain't good.
Really?
Obviously, spoke to some doctors, physios, and I thought it'd be settled pretty quick.
Yeah.
To be honest, didn't really think anything of it, and saw a couple hand specialists, and they seemed to sort of just mess me around a little bit. And they just, I don't know, they just want to keep giving you injections. And I turned around and I was like, how many more?
Yeah,
It clearly doesn't work.
Yeah, it's okay for 80 minutes of rugby or footy when you're doing it, but to keep doing that for golf.
Yeah.
Ain't happening. Yeah.
And I ended up losing a whole season. I had one guy said, you need to leave it and rest it for 4 months. So I was like, all right, wipe this season out, rest it, come back. I started playing over December of 22, felt okay, got to Dubai, felt fine, played 2 rounds, picked up a club on the Saturday, couldn't pick it up.
Whoa.
I was like, you tell me this is back. I got it strapped up and I played 2 days. But then again, tried to go to Singapore and play. Didn't work. Luckily, I was in Singapore and the medical care was unbelievable there.
Was it?
One of the doctors working at the event sent me for a scan, got a scan. Then I had some bruising in a bone in my hand. I think where I'd played through the pain on the weekend, and then I had a procedure, an injection in the bone, and then sent me to a hand therapist, and she was like certain it was a tendon problem. And I fought her for like 3-4 sort of sessions saying, are you sure this is a tendon problem? It's not like arthritic, it's not a bone problem. Why has no one picked up? It's that it's a tendon problem. And she was like, no, I think it is. I think it is. Give me another week. Let me just sort of think about this. And she come back and was like, I'm certain. She was like, I'm certain it's a tendon problem. I said, well, how long is this going to be? And I was looking at the schedule thinking, maybe I'll get back in Europe. I think Italy was the first one, something like that. We'll get back in 23. And she went, I think you'll be ready in November. And I was like, sorry?
Ouch.
I was like, it's March.
Yeah, that's...
I was like, November. And she was like, listen, she was like, these things, they heal really quickly for 80%. The last 20% can be like really difficult. And she was like, you'll play 2-3 days in a row and think you'll play next week, pick it up the 4th day and it'll be really sore. Then you have to come back and start chipping. And she was like, it's going to be a process like that. Yeah. And she was so accurate.
Was she? She
bob on. Yeah. And all through like last summer, I'd be playing and I'd be like looking, I'd be like, oh, I might be able to sneak a couple of events in here. And then like literally a few days later, I'm like, no. So yeah, it was like a incredible journey. And then what I didn't realize, after 2 years out, you don't realize all your conditioning goes everywhere else. Right. Like you've played golf. I've played golf my whole life. Yeah. So you're conditioned to just hit golf balls and play. And I remember like after the first day in South Africa, I woke up and I was like, I was like, this is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to the real world of amateur golf.
Turning, the hips moving, the everything, the back, everything, the compression into the ground.
That's in pieces.
Yeah, I bet you were, man.
Yeah,
I've seen you working with Jamie Gough on the range. You were down there, weren't you?
Yeah.
You're working with him. You still working with him, mate?
Yeah, still working with Jamie. Yeah, he's been amazing, like so patient. And he always keeps in touch.
And is that something that, because of the wrist, you've had to develop a different kind of swing to develop it? Just the grip?
Yeah, just the grip. Yeah, just the grip. But we've literally this season, we got back and since seeing him, we just work on exactly the same things I did sort of 2.5-3 years ago. And that's been a nice thing. And Jamie's such a special coach. I mean, because he just wants you to play. Yeah. And he does things without you even realising it and nudge it. And it's so much to do with like ball flight. And like my tendency would be to swing a bit flat. Yeah. And as soon as he sees it, he'd just be like, hit me a load of fades. Just go and fade it.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, just go and fade it. He was like, that get you steeper. And like, or he'd say like, you're a bit far away from the ball. And he was like, that's why that one's a little bit thin. You hit the next one as you flush it and you're like, wow. And he just sees it.
So it's so simplified. By the sound of it, so simplified. And obviously he's got a plethora of great talent like yourself. He's got Foxy, he's got Sully, he's got Pavon, hasn't he? Yeah. Matty Pavon. I mean, my goodness, man. I mean, it's unbelievable.
He's doing well.
He's I call him the crocodile.
Do you?
Yeah. Because like we all know Jamie, but he's never loud.
No.
He just goes about his business. He's just eyes above the water, I say like that. And he just goes about it. He hates praise.
Silent.
He's going to hate this.
Yeah. Did he?
Well, I'm going to bet on his behalf and get him out of the spotlight.
Yeah, he won't like this. I'm sorry, Jamie.
Before we dive into too much golf, I really want to dive back into where it all started for you, Beef. I want to go back to your childhood. I want to go back to where you came from, what your first job was. So can you briefly describe your upbringing for us so we can learn where the Beef Man came from?
Oh, yeah, I guess I obviously grew up Finchley Way. Yeah. Barnet, Finchley Way. I guess in a very sporty household. My dad played a lot of football when he was younger, and then got to a certain point where he couldn't play football anymore. And my mum said, why don't you play golf? And he was like, take up golf, got hooked on it. And he used to go with a friend, and he used to go on like a weekend and play like 3 rounds on a Saturday. He'll play like 3 rounds. They just go round and round, play and play and play. And like used to love it. So obviously growing up, my brother, my sister played. They were sort of naturally into other things. And then when I come along, that was it. Played since I was 4 and used to play everything like football, cricket, tennis, table tennis, everything. And like absolutely love sport and
Love that.
and playing different sports, but golf was always the one. Yeah, I picked up first and played, and I was pretty shit at the other ones, I guess.
Yeah, you did, mate.
And something was there a moment you remember where you're just like, right, I'm going for this full time. I'm all in. Balls to the wall, bang.
I love like playing. Like obviously I had a great junior bunch. I joined North Middlesex when I was 9, and we had a good bunch of juniors. They were all a bit older, but they sort of like just embraced me and let me play. And you know that age gap. They were all sort of 14, 15, and I was 10, but they were like totally cool.
And you kind of look up to them and you want to be, and they're a little bit better than you, a little bit longer off the tee, and you're like pushing yourself.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was there a tournament when you were younger, and does Moray Golf Club ring a bell?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, this comes later, so...
Oh, so this is when you're slightly more mature.
So being a part of North Mid, it's a wacky club. And as we got older, and then obviously, like, all my friends were, like, 5 years older. So when they hit 18 and I was 13, there used to be the captain's bar and then the 19th. And at the time, you couldn't go in there unless you were 18 or over. So I used to be standing at the bar, like chatting, like through the door, chatting to everyone and stuff, and watching them grow up.
Just
and
whip a few Swifties out of the
Yeah, exactly. And then luckily, got into the Middlesex county stuff. They put me forward to England training. Got into some of the England boys stuff, which was amazing. And this is where Moray comes in. So we play the home internationals up there, and I had a great week. I think I'd got 4.5 points out of 5 games.
Fair play, man.
Which was great. I was like, we were buzzing.
Worth a celebration.
England team won. It was probably me who said, "Are we going out or what?" It's probably my idea. Found this pub.
Nice.
Got absolutely hammered. I'd woken up in the middle of the Airbnb or wherever we were staying, and I was hot. I was dehydrated. I was hot. I said, I've got to go and get some fresh air. So I chucked on a t-shirt, a pair of shorts. I've walked outside. I realised I've locked myself out.
Oh, fantastic.
But the golf club's only like 100 yards down the road. It starts to rain. So I'll make a run for the golf club.
Brilliant.
Doors locked. I go around the back. The locker room door's open. Just sleep in the locker for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, mate.
Like this, right? So thinking, I just let this pass. Anyway, for some reason, I've gone through another door. I've set the alarms off.
Oh, fantastic.
So now the police have come. So I've gone outside, and as the alarm's gone off, I've flagged the police down. I've gone, look. I was like, I've got locked out. Like this.
Well, I've got locked out, but then locked back in.
Yeah, then locked back in, and I was like, look, it was raining, I'm cold, like I can't get in. I've slept in the locker or whatever like this. Right? So they're like, okay, like don't worry about it. He said, like, where are you staying? So we walked back up. So he's throwing stones. One of the police officers throwing stones at a window, and I'm like, I wake someone up. It was obviously the England manager.
Oh, no.
His windows. You couldn't pick a worse window.
Yeah,
right?
wrong window, mate.
Yeah, you couldn't pick one like that. And all I remember is ripping the curtain and seeing me with 2 police officers, and just his face was just, he was so angry. Like that, got in a bit of trouble. But we had the British boys, like the boys amateur championships the week after Royal Aberdeen. And there's like 300 amateurs. And like, you know how things spread. It's like wildfire. So many people coming up to the putting green going, what happened last week?
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, oh, God, I can't explain it again. I was like, I can't explain this again.
Oh, it is so good.
It was a funny story, man. Yeah.
Me and you are cut from the same cloth. I got a similar kind of story, but that's for another time.
Yeah, I think between the pair of you, how many tea times have you missed?
I'm just reminiscing. I've had a few.
Tea times. One on Challenge Tour.
One on Challenge Tour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was,
Was that for, what type of reason are we talking here?
Similar. More A standards. More A standards. I remember it was with Whitney.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Gary Houston. And we've ended up out in Ukraine after the 3rd round. I was playing really well. I had a bad finish. Obviously, I've come in and I've had a few drinks. Terrible idea. Ended up out. And I remember him saying, as I was going to the room, he's like, we got in at like, I don't know, 6 o'clock, teeing off at 9. Yeah. He's like, whatever you do, don't lay on the bed. And I woke up and I was like, oh no. Oh no, I've laid on the bed like this. I've never had panic like it. It was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
I was so embarrassed. And I was like, it's one of them like life lessons that would never happen again type of thing. But I was so embarrassed about rocking up, and like million phone calls from, I might have been Valerie from the tour there, millions, and she's just like, what are you doing?
It's all fun and games, though.
Whitney, if anyone doesn't know, Gary Houston, he caddies for on and off for Thomas Bjorn. So nowadays he does and plays a bit of senior Legends Tour.
Yeah,
good boy, isn't he?
Really good, really good. Every time I see him here and there, we have a chat, and he always says the same comment. He was like, "Remember, don't lay down."
Well, so speaking of getting hammered, you two boys know each other relatively well for that big moment, Beef, when you sort of, I guess you broke through on the viral sort of stage where you won in Valderrama 2016 on, you had that big victory. And Morgs, you interviewed him for the winning victory, didn't you?
I did it. What a small world, isn't it?
How to pull you guys together here is quite good. So you've won, and that's when you've given it the whole, and he was like, what did you say? What are you going to do? How are you going to celebrate? And that's when you just went, well, I'm going to get absolutely hammered.
What does it mean for the family and your friends back home? I'm sure they're going absolutely ballistic right now.
Yeah, I can't wait to get back to North Mid and get hammered and see my mum, brother, and spend time with them and just celebrate.
Remember that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
what
your
else are you going to
emotions
do?
are all over the place. And I just wanted, seriously, it was the honest truth. I'd been sent like messages, seen messages from the golf club, from North Mid and stuff. And I just wanted to sort of get back there. And you ask a question like that, I'm not thinking about it.
No.
And you're not thinking about anything. No. And it was just the total honest truth. I just wanted to go and see my mates and family and stuff and celebrate.
Go down to the local pub and buy everyone a beer.
Get
absolutely on it and get wrecked and start dancing like Michael Flatley in front of everyone. Lovely. But yeah, I mean,
how was that for you interviewing him? Because I guess it was quite emotional win. Like, it's an amazing moment in your career. And
well, it was the first actually for me, winner's interview. So going from a player to become now an analyst and a commentator and stuff like that, he's going to be my first ever live interview. And funny enough, we did it, and all of a sudden my producer and me here go, John, you got to go back and ask him if you can do it again. And literally he's just spilt his beans and done his blood there, and he's sweat and tears, everything all coming out, all emotion is coming out. And I've had to go back in and say, sorry, Andrew, any chance of another interview, mate? Just like all of a sudden then we were back in it and we got it done. It was all nice and lovey-dovey. But amazing really, mate.
So did you follow through on that, get home? How was it getting home, knowing that you were a champion on the DP World Tour?
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, it was funny. That night we went out for dinner, and you think you're going to go out and, like, obviously, get hammered or whatever. We were so drained after dinner. I was just like, I was exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, once that kind of, like,
the euphoria, right? Like, you're so high.
Yeah. And like, we went back and just literally chilled out. And then everyone sort of said, look, because you can't get back, we'll have a party on the next Friday. So I was like, all right, done. And then someone said, we've got to do fancy dress party. Spanish theme, obviously, that. So so then like that whole week we were like trying to think like, oh, what can you wear? Like, everyone's gonna go certain things. I don't want to be a stereotypical one. We've got to have a different one. And I was like Googling loads of different things, and ended up I found this piñata suit.
Oh, did you?
I love that.
Yeah. And I was like, this is risky because if people are just gonna start whacking
just
me.
Bang.
Yeah. But it was ridiculous. But like, we had such a good party. And golf's such a strange thing, I played well early that season, and I was struggling a bit a few weeks before. And I played the Sunday, so we're flying out Monday. I played the Sunday at North Mid, and I played horrible. And there was a big group, and they said go win it, and I was like, I kind of laughed because I knew how bad I played, and I was like, I wouldn't bank on it. I said, and if I do, I'll bring the trophy back and I'll down the whole thing of champagne, right? Like this, as kind of a laugh, knowing that I was struggling. And then I turned up, obviously, and won, come back with a trophy, and the guy turned around and he was like, champagne? Like this, and I was like, no. I was like, no, I didn't, it was like,
por favor?
I kind of said it, but I didn't mean it.
You called my bluff, big fella.
Absolutely done me, But yeah, it was great, and like that golf club's like so special. And every time I go back, and see like friends, and you know what it's like. I've known people there now for 25 years, 20 years. It's a long time.
yeah.
You see the same faces, and it's that point of like grounding when you go back and see everyone pop up there all the time.
Yeah.
You can't beat that, man. You can't beat that. That's what it's all about. Friends and family.
You won much?
No, I partied enough. Yeah, I've had my moments, that's for sure. But no, I didn't win very much. I didn't win to the standard Andrew done. I think I would have done if I'd have had a nice little run at it, but it wasn't to be for me. But I was just chuffed to bits for him, and I could see him hanging over the bar, you know, just dribble coming down his face after having a good night on the pop. Like a hangover moment, you know, from the movie.
I'm not going to lie, all this chat's kind of
Looking at the
I'm just sort of
buffalo
staring at this big buffalo.
Yeah, mate, you got it, man. Well, there's one there. Look.
It's like, yeah.
There you go. Honestly, you could be related.
That does.
Could be related.
You're
Honestly.
far more handsome and groomed, yeah. Stop talking about it.
I know, sorry, man. Just drink it.
Crack it open.
All right, I will.
Yeah.
Go on, then. Do it. Oh, mate, it's got to be done.
Well, so Beef, while Morgs he's going to take half an hour to do that, I reckon.
Got no nails.
Yeah, it's
Got no
gonna be
nails.
great.
We talk about the celebrations of winning, but let's dial it back a bit to, I guess, like where golf's not quite as easy. And let's say after that, you've had all the success. What's it like after that success and the expectations of like pushing on and continuing? Because then I guess you got to go to America and all these things start happening.
It was.
That noise was.
It's interesting because like, if I look back how I was just before I'd won, or even after winning that event, I was like, I didn't think about anything. I didn't think. It was that, and that was probably a strong trait of mine, not to even think.
Yeah.
So like you have
Probably helped you a few times on
You
the
have a
course.
good week, well, great. You have a bad week, all right, next one. And it was like not thinking was great. And after winning and then having a good finish at the Open, and then everything kind of blew up, and then you're in America, and I put so much pressure on myself that I had to get better, I had to improve. And then you start comparing yourself to others, which is the most dangerous thing you can do. You just got to stay, as I've learned, stay in your own lane, just do your thing. The worse I got, the worse I started to play. And then even when I played well, I thought I was playing bad. And it got into this cycle where nothing was ever good enough.
Yeah.
Nothing was ever good enough. And like that happened over a period of a year and a half, 2 years of just sort of beating yourself up rather than not thinking and going, didn't happen this week.
Yeah.
We'll just go again. Or like fine margins or whatever. If I hit one better tee shot here or knocking a couple of putts at this, it's like nothing. Like sometimes you finish 20th, 30th and it's so minor to having a good finish in the top 10. I started then to pick at everything. Need to do this better, need to do that better. You start chasing some pins and then all of a sudden,
And if you're changing little bits, everything all adds up, and then all of a sudden everything's not aligned, eh?
Yeah, it's big spiral, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm not enjoying this.
No.
And then that change happens. You go, I don't want to get to this tournament. Oh, I'm supposed to be here. I said to coach and caddy, I'm going to be here Monday. No, I changed the flight Tuesday. No. What time we play in the Pro-Am afternoon? I'm going to fly in Wednesday morning. Yeah. And all of a sudden you start doing things and moving stuff and everything changes. And now you're in a place where it's hard to get to a tournament because you're so anxious about teeing it out because you've got to be perfect. And it can easily slide the other way without you even realizing it. And you do something and you sort of train your brain for a year and a half, 2 years of doing that pattern. It only gets stronger. You get further down that slope. Yeah. Till you realize, like, as I said, luckily I met Jodie at the time and she saw it straight away and said, look, you need to go and see a psychologist and speak to someone because what you're doing isn't healthy. Yeah. And once you kind of break down that barrier and get through that situation and sort of understand how it's happened and why it's happened, then I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes more sense. And you can kind of sort of rewire your thinking and your brain. And almost, as I said, I want to get back to not really thinking too much.
Yeah. Because, Morgs, I guess and I know you went to America as well. Like, how hard is that transition? Not only playing good golf, but then trying to play good golf over in America, and there's so much life changes. Like, how different is the game over there, or how much does your life change?
I think we're unique kind of specimens being from where we're from.
Before you get going,
well, we'll have a little spot, yeah.
Like,
I'm up for it. Do you want to pass the buck around? Here you go.
just sick of looking at it.
Yeah, I know. I'm up for tasting. You're more than welcome.
Oh man,
Andrew?
He's got a
If
golf
I didn't
tour.
have a
No, don't do
9
it.
holes to
Don't do
play
it.
this
I'll have yours
afternoon.
for you, mate. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. Anyway,
Um,
Buffalo Trace doing the trick, dude.
so America.
So America, yeah. I mean, I went over there. It was a bit of a rabbit in the headlights, really. Went out, couldn't believe who I was seeing. Couldn't believe the people I was all of a sudden next to on the range. You know, the whole hype, the masses coming at you. I don't know if it was the same for Andrew. I'm sure it probably was. You know, sponsorship deals are quadruple the amount than what you would get if you're a fish out of water. You really are. You don't know where you are. And literally all you want to do is go home and have a hug off your mum and dad. You know, all you want to do is go down a local pub and see some friendly faces. You want the banter to be back there again. You know, there's no banter. The banter is not like what we got at home. That's for sure. I don't know what you thought, Andrew, but I mean, I found a big struggle. I went to like Miami, which is like a party town as well. My goodness. I mean, you imagine me on South Beach every day. I mean, holy moly. I mean, it's the ladies' beach volleyball was very, very good. You know, opposite a lovely little cocktail bar called Wet Willie's, which I went to pretty often. And yeah, I just stay there and enjoy the view. And yeah, it was nice. But you know, literally got caught up and out with the fairies, but it's not easy. And I think this is where I wanted to ask Andrew is where did you know, when was that point where you just went, enough's enough, I'm just packing my bags, I need to get out of here?
Oh, I think it would have been Hilton Head.
Really?
I think, yeah. Where I'd made the cut. I'd played horrible though, and I played horrible on the Sunday, and it was one of the moments where I just wanted to get out of the golf course as fast as you can, get back as fast as you can. And I remember I was in such a rotten mood, and I literally just chucked everything in the car, and there was this coach driving, and I've like gone to undercut this coach as we're coming out, basically the golf club, and you had one police officer, one stop like this, and he was like, hey, stop, and I just kept going.
Yeah, got his Scheffler all over.
Yeah. I just kept going, and then what I didn't know is there was another police officer at another stop down there, so he's radioed him and said, there's this idiot driving down there, pull him over for work with him like that, and he's come over and he's like told me off, and I just turned around and I was like, mate, I just want to get out of here. Yeah. Just let me please get out of here. Like that. And luckily, I don't know, maybe he saw something, he just let me go. He was like, all right, he's like, just don't drive like that again. But I was like, I got to get out of here. Yeah. Got to get away from it.
Yeah.
And that was probably the moment where, that was it.
Change direction.
Yeah, that was enough.
Because Johnny and I were talking before as well, and we were saying how awesome it is about how open you've been about your mental health and stuff like that, because there's probably people like us that keep our traps shut far too much. Like, how much of a difference did that make in your life to, I guess, pop the seal off and just say, you know what, let's sort of
I just
lay
think
this on the
always,
table.
like, if you're just honest,
yeah,
and real, and just say it how it is, and like, you don't necessarily know. Like, I think it was the thing that changed it really was after I come back in 2019 after a break, and did what's it called? The tour do like a piece on a player, don't they? They asked me, do you want to do like that kind of interview for the tour and stuff and do a piece? Are you happy speaking about your situation and why you've taken a break? And I said, let me think about it. I thought about it for a couple of minutes, and I was like, why am I even thinking about this? No. Like, that's what happened.
Yeah.
So, like, why am I even thinking? As I got back, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Had a chat, and then when the whole piece come out and stuff, and the feedback you got, and you realise, like, pretty much everyone during their life is going to go through something, regardless what you do. I'd say pretty much everyone's going to go through some sort of dip in mental health, and stuff. And you realise that we're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
We're all in the same boat, regardless what you do, whether you play golf, whatever, you're a chef, I don't know, literally whatever you do. There'll be some moments in people's life where you have a dip. And it was like, that kind of made me aware of like, we're all in the same boat here. And it's like, we should talk about it. We should just talk about it and be open about it.
Yeah.
And be nice to people. And it was like, that was a real eye-opener. And the more you kind of look at it and speak to people, and after that week, you know, I've seen players in locker room and I've had a chat when they've been really down.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And you see it. And it's like anything, golf, we're blessed. We're absolutely blessed in what we do. But it's a mental grind as well. And it's such fine margins, and sport can be cruel. And you see players struggling, and it's a case of, like trying to help someone pick someone up and just be kind, because you don't know what anyone's going through.
Yeah. Is there a difference between being angry and continuously angry with golf, or continuously disappointed in your performance, versus being mentally unwell?
It's a fine line, because you can bring anger out as that.
Yeah.
That could be your outlet to struggling with mental health.
Yeah.
Someone might not say anything. Someone might be really angry. And it's like, whatever that situation is, it's like picking up, I would say, slightly abnormal behavior. So like if I look at some of my sort of abnormal behavior, where sometimes I've gone and I finished, I think, mid-20s at the Scottish Open one year, and I was like smacking the locker. And you're like,
it's a great result.
It's a great week.
Yeah.
And when you start picking that and going, okay, that's sort of, that anger's way out of proportion.
Totally.
And it's like, I don't know, maybe if you're driving a car and someone cuts you up and you're like, give them a horn or whatever, you say something and you're like, whatever. But maybe someone drives and next thing they're driving behind you for half an hour having a go. It's like they're going through something.
Yeah.
Like, but that's the way they're releasing that pain or whatever they're going through. And I think like I've really tried to be aware of that in situations and stuff where people, are either overly angry or overly quiet or not sort of enjoying themselves or don't seem like their normal character. It's like, I like, and that's the time where you're like, you're right.
Yeah.
Because you've lived it, you can see it.
Yeah. And it's like, I generally think most people go through that process. And the best way, like we said, to speak about it, there's nothing wrong with it.
Great answer. You've really got my mind thinking, because like, you know, we all, like literally all have tough years, you know. And
absolutely.
Hell, like I've been through a roller coaster. Morgs, you've probably been.
Oh, why me? You know, it's that famous saying, isn't it? Why has it got to happen to me? Yeah. But it does. It happens to everyone. It's just how you deal with it. You find out who your friends are. I can tell you that. You find out who your friends are, and you who my friends are. I don't know what you did, Andrew, when you're over in America on your own. I mean, it's a lonely place. Yeah. You know, you're a long way from home. You're traveling week to week. You know, living out of a suitcase. You know, different hotels. Did you like fly your friends over to keep you company? Were you?
We probably didn't have as much money back then, like when you were first starting, right? Or
everything just happened so quickly. You don't think about it, and you're like, oh, the next week.
I know.
Oh, we're turning up here like 2 weeks' time.
And all of a sudden, a couple of months have gone by and you're going, where's that gone?
Yeah. So it happens quick.
Yeah.
And then you're a long way from what you grew up, what you know. And that, I guess it's like a sense of grounding. Yeah. And you want to be back with your mates, with your sayings, your silly jokes, the stuff that you grew up with, right? And you have that core of like people you grow up with, and you'll have that saying, or like, you can't just turn around and just say something maybe off a film or a line off a film randomly to someone or whatever it is, or have that old saying that you have with your mates.
Yeah. No one gets it.
No one will get it, and you lose that
It's
sense
a bloody
of grounding.
funny joke, and no one's laughing.
Yeah. But it's only funny to you and
Yeah,
your mates.
like, of course it is.
Yeah. You look like an absolute...
Happens often.
You look like a madman if you turn around and say that to your mates.
Yeah.
They think, what's wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
So yeah, you miss that that sense of like grounding when you're on the road a lot.
Yeah.
I used to love that.
And I guess would you say, like, let's say now you're kind of coming through, I'd say, a mini comeback at the moment. Let's not call it a full comeback just yet. I think there's a few pages of that story to come as well, Beefy,
Yeah.
Do you think all of that, what you've been through with your injury, with your mental health, is that all of a sudden that's a serious foundation to what you're building now?
Yeah, just a foundation in being comfortable with yourself.
Yeah, man.
And like, it's interesting how much better I've dealt with things, even in this last 2 months. Prague, Czech Masters was a real disappointment on the weekend. And
Yeah, I was there with you doing that.
Yeah, I was quite deflated on the Sunday, and I got into this nervous, anxious shell on the Sunday. I didn't deal with it very well. I come off and I thought, whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. We've got Denmark next week, and rather than picking it apart,
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, all right, let's go again. And I was like, sort of back to that sort of not thinking about it too much and that acceptance. And when actually, I did a lot of good stuff and trying to pick the positives rather than going down the other side, which I've been as well, going, well, I need to do this better. This needs to be better. I was just like, all right, whatever. I was like, it's golf.
Yeah.
How would you have handled that 5-6 years ago?
I'd have been fuming.
Yeah.
Fuming and just beating yourself up.
Yeah.
And I said, no, let's go and chill. We'll go out for dinner. And
It's one of those events as well where people were shooting the lights out, so you didn't necessarily you were in the final group that day. You didn't do a heap wrong. It's just like you've got to go booty. And it's like you can't be too disappointed about that.
No, you can't. But it's very easy again, to sort of sit there and start picking that apart. Yeah. And just thinking, all right, no. I was like, we've got Denmark next week. I was like, let's go again. And then it's like, play there. And it's like, oh, British Masters. All right, let's go again. Yeah. And it was just that case of just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Don't think about it too much. Yeah. Just listen to Goughy.
Yeah.
And smack a few balls, prep, and then see what happens. And it was like, if we have a good week, great. If we don't, great. We're in a great place. So let's go and check it out. And what will be, will be. And I think this season where I've had so long off, I would say in the past, not being the best at school, not coming out with straight A's.
2 E's, 1 F, and 2 G's. Same as Jamie Donaldson. Yeah. We got the same grades at school. Get out, go get yourself a job.
Yeah, exactly. And it was it always played on my mind where you sort of, oh man, what happens if I lose my card? Mm-hmm. And that question pops in, and that fear or that doubt. What am I going to do? And in the 2 years where you realise oh, you can go off and create this and create that. And it's if you put the same patterns and sort of effort into whatever you do, and you realise it opens up a door of creating, all of a sudden I was like, this year's been the biggest test for that, because it's come back, change your grip. You're halfway through a season, start 220th race to Dubai. Yeah. And I was like, I could play 10, 15 events. You don't quite know when you're going to start playing well, how long it's going to take, and all these questions where before, handling that, I'd have just been a mess. And I just went, well, what will be, will be. And it was that thing of just going, well, we'll just see. And I've kind of developed this saying of just we'll just see what happens. Yeah. And just batting it off. And it's having that, again, that sort of process of just going, anything can happen. It's not as bad as what you think it is when it actually happens. So let's just play and see what happens.
Brilliant. What was the this moment in your career, Johnny Morgan?
Waking up in a hospital thinking the plane had crashed. That was mine in Dallas, Fort Worth, when I had a seizure on the plane. Yeah, well, and it was just one of those things that it was a moment, a bit like Andrew's, where you reach a moment where all of a sudden, you think whole world's just done a 360 on you, and you got to rethink your whole schedule, your mindset. Golf ain't that important anymore, as much as you're trying. But then, I was high on morphine trying to hit the first tee shot in 2 days' time, straight afterwards. It was mental.
because I probably forgot to, I guess, give you the full intro at the start of the show, and then we got distracted, we digressed, and now we're back here finally after about an hour. But like, can you run us through, Johnny, like how you were playing on tour, and you mentioned the sieges? Can you talk about briefly your epilepsy and your battle with that? Because at the end of the day, that was a big part of your career and your career slowing down.
Well, I was very much on the gravy train, a bit like Andrew, like going out to the PGA Tour. You know, you're high, you're flying, you're playing good, you're optimistic. You got a massive new fan base that you've never had before right behind you. You're going, wow, you know, pressure.
Hat backwards.
Oh, hat backward. The swoosh was flying then, and then you're just there going, wow, this is amazing. You know, seeing Tiger on a range journey, you know, VJ all hitting balls next to you, and you're just going, oh, I was having food fights with Tiger, road races, you know, all that jazz. Everything was kicking off. It was amazing. And then all of a sudden, crash, it hits. You know, on the way, I think it was on the way to Reno, Lake Tahoe, Reno Open, which is pretty much just a week before or week after the Open Championship. And yeah, it just woke up on a plane. I was on my way there, and yeah, I'd had a grand mal seizure. And luckily, Adam Hayes, who caddies for John Ram, was actually on there, and he carried me off the plane. They actually stopped the plane on the runway and got me off onto an ambulance. What became my caddy, Rick Goyette, he got off as well, stayed in the hotel with me, told his player, who was, I think, Vaughan Taylor at the time, just wait for me, I'll be there. You know, I just got to look after this dude. He's beaten. And I bit my tongue off, pulled both my groin muscles, broke ribs, you know, discs at the top of your back. Ooh. And they came back. Health South was the lot then, and they put me back together. I turned up. My mum and dad were there, and I hadn't seen them for ages. You can imagine my mum's in bits, you know, and my dad, you know, it's like, give me a hug, you know, and they're, you know, exactly what you needed. And literally then just got on these morphine sticks that the doctor had given me, and I went to the first tee. And honestly, I ripped this driver straight down the middle, and it went 100 yards. Didn't make the fairway, and I ripped it. And yeah, I remember making par hold a 40-footer on the first hole. Thought, I'm back, you know. And I just went driver 100 yards forward, 100 yards, 3-iron to the front edge, and all the 40-footer for on this the shortest par 4 you could think of, a birdie hole. And I thought, I'm in. And then that was it. It was a big battle from there, and it was a struggle because it's like Andrew said, you get to the pace where you just keep going with the flow. You go week from week, and I still push through. I was so mentally strong, thinking I can, you know, I'm Superman. I can get over this. My body will adapt, and I'll find a swing. Nah. It just crashed. Absolutely, seriously crashed. And it was like time to go home. And what happened was going round. I got on the Jägermeisters with Jesper Parnevik round his house, and just literally opened up my heart, and that was it. Jesper tried to get me to stay in America, said, once you go, you're gone. I went, yeah, I'm going home. I need to go home. I need home. So, and that was it. That was my moment where I needed to go and reboot, get myself back to basics and find my life again, because it was close to just walking the plank, you know what I mean? It was close. But, you know, we've all gone through it. We've all gone through it.
Wow. What were the steps, like when you hit the lowest points, of sort of getting back? What did you do?
Mates, family, home, creature comforts, bought a dog. Nice. Ozzy, after Ozzy Osbourne. The other one was Dylan after Bob Dylan. All nutters. Should have got the names round the wrong way. I'm sure there was a marijuana plant hidden in the back garden somewhere because the dog was so relaxed, it was ridiculous. But anyway, you know, literally, it was amazing. And literally, it was the best reboot I could have asked for. You know, went down to the local pub where everyone had my back, you know, where it all began. You know, I met up with old friends that I, you know, lost. And literally, that's like I say, you remember who your friends are. You know what I mean? Your friends do come back. They, you know, they were always there. They're always sending you messages. Hope everything's going all right. And that's how I got back to basics again.
Well, there's moments you were friends with John Daly and stuff, wasn't there, Johnny?
Well, you know, JD, yeah. I mean, I was going to ask you that one, Andrew. Did you have any crazy parties out there? I know mine was like JD at the 84 Lumber Classic said, John, come on, mate. And straight up on the stage, shooting a blowfish, shot a black sambuca, and there I am singing Knocking on Heaven's Door on a tambourine with him in front of all the players and everyone. And he's like taking his top off, got his man boobs out. I'm doing the same. It's like, yeah, game on. This is great. And it was just mental. It was just absolutely crazy, and I absolutely loved it. I don't know if you had anything like that.
You've played with the best of them, Beef, haven't you?
Oh man, yeah. The first time I really met him was Turkish Airlines.
Oh, dangerous! It's a lock-in situation.
Well, this is exactly what happened. And after the Sunday, we got chatting, and I was having a beer, and he was like, "We'll get a bucket of these beers like this," and he was obviously straight on whiskey, and he was like, "Yeah, look," he was like, "Go back to your hotel," and he's like, "Come meet me and stuff, and we'll carry on," and I remember sitting there and getting there, and he had music playing as always, and he ordered like two large whiskeys. They come in like this glass, right? It was filled up to about here. And he's got the can of Coke on the side. And as the waiter put them down, he went, "Can we order 2 more?"
Brilliant.
Mate, they've just come. Like that.
Brilliant.
Next thing, I'm in my pants. And I'm shaking a tree. And then I'm jumping in the pool. Yes. Yeah, and I'm like, he seems okay. I was like, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. He seems okay. It was just like, oh my God. And then wake up and I was like, what happened? Yeah. And like, Mrs. at the time was like, yeah, you stripped off to your pants and you were shaking this bush for some reason. Like, going to jump in the pool. And I was just like, oh God. Yeah, I was like, so I was like, wow. I said, what did John do? He said he just walked to his room.
Yeah. He's still going.
Yeah. He's absolutely fine.
Autopilot for a minute.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Oh mate, well, mate, you boys, Petunia, especially you Beef, you've got a lot of chapters to come, but you've had some great moments in your career, some great stories so far. You've just written a book as well, which we didn't touch on, but that's exciting. What's the final chapter going to look like for you, mate? What's the next wee chapter of your life looking like?
Hopefully, just playing. Yeah, just playing, and I'd like to get back out to America potentially, see what we can do, and just try and get back on that road and just play. Try and keep it very simple.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key. Keep it simple, have fun.
Yeah.
And see where we can get to again.
Mindset.
It feels like it does. It feels like a weird sort of fresh start.
Yeah.
Deja vu from the past when you first started coming on tour for the first time, I bet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like as you said, you go through the experiences, and it's just to, have a good time and be wary of the red flags.
Yes, there's plenty of them.
Two right in front of you here.
Yeah. And just as I said, enjoy it and just play, see what happens. And as I said, let's just see what will be, man.
What'll be will be. Well, mate, we've enjoyed hearing about your story, and we can't wait to read the rest of it. So thanks so much for your time. Rip it up in Ireland this week, and I'm sure we'll do this again at some point. Yeah,
absolutely. I think we'll do it in the afternoon or late evening when we can sort of sample a bit more of that.
We can talk about boxing, mate. Your little lovely pastime of mine.
Yeah, well, that was my one goal of the podcast, was to not let you guys get distracted by boxing too much. Another great. That's probably for another episode.
It's all good, but I'm sure we'll go to a nice fight one day, or go to the Alley Pally for some darts.
Oh, there we go.
I've never been to the Alley Pally.
Oh,
come on.
There we go.
Come on.
Maybe,
dress up as pinatas.
Christmas time?
Yeah, Christmas time. Mistletoe and wine.
Yeah, let's do it.
Children singing.
All right, that's a deal.
I've got no Christmas plans.
All right.
We'll do it.
Boom. Shakalaka, I'm in. Right, in.
Yeah.
Like Flint.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to finish on that note because that was brilliant, and I can't wait for the darts.
Boom.
Right, shot, boys.
Thank you, mate.
Wicked.
Cheers, Beef.
Cheers, Andrew.
No, cheers, man. That was great.
Mate.
No, that was awesome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, wicked, man.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, always great.
Buddy.
Mate, always great, man.
It's hot in here, isn't it?
Oh, it's so hot. How you done it in the jumper?
Mate, you won't believe what this top's going to look like. It was purple, it's now black.
It's soaked, mate.
Mate, I am soaked.
You look good. You look good, though. No, thanks for your time. I know you're a busy boy.
Wicked. Take care, guys.
Cheers,
I'll
Beefy.
see you at Christmas.
Yeah.
To watch another DP World Tour video, click here, and to subscribe, click here.